Good evening, and thank you for joining tonight's telephone town hall meeting hosted by Colorado Department of Transportation for Your Transportation Plan, a statewide transportation planning effort. We are simulcasting tonight's event in Spanish, and I'm going to pause and ask Commissioner Gutierrez to make a quick announcement. Commissioner?
Saludos. Si desean participar en español, por favor, oprima el asterisco y luego 0.
Gracias. My name is Roger, and I'll be your moderator tonight as we talk about transportation in the Transportation Commission District 5, including Larimer, Weld, and Morgan counties. Our panel members tonight include Transportation Commissioner Cecil Gutierrez, who you just heard from, and the CDOT Director in this region, Heather Paddock. Before we begin with our introductions, I wanted to take just a moment to tell you about the format for tonight's interactive call. We want to hear from you, so if you would like to ask our panel a question, please press star 3 on your telephone keypad, and you will be transferred to an operator who will take down some basic information. Once the operator notes your information, you'll be returned to the call and can listen to our conversation until you are called upon. So press star 3 now on your keypad to ask a question or make a comment. If you want to view slides that accompany tonight's call, log in to CDOT's YouTube page at tiny.cc /CDOT TTH 10. I think it's CCH 5. So let's do that again. Tiny.cc /CDOT for CDOT, TTH for telephone town hall. So CDOT TTH 5. Additionally, CDOT has launched a 2050 statewide plan survey that you can take. That survey is available at tiny.cc /CDOT YTP 2050. And that stands for CDOT, YTP is your transportation plan, and then 2050. Now, if you didn't have a pen or pencil ready or nearby, grab one now, and I'll repeat those links to you in just a couple of minutes, because I know that's a lot to handle there. Since our panel would like to hear from as many people as possible, we will limit all callers to one question, and when it's your turn, I'll call your name and ask you to repeat your question for our live audience. Finally, we'll be asking 4 important polling questions later during the call, and I will explain that process to you in a few minutes. Now, before we get to questions and your questions, I would like to turn it over to Director Paddock to make some opening remarks. Go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Heather Paddock, and I am the CDOT Region 4 Transportation Director. By trade, I'm an engineer, but at the heart of it all, my passion is transportation, and I appreciate the challenge of helping people get where they need and want to go more safely, more efficiently, and by providing options for using different modes of transportation. Transportation affects every person, every industry, and every community in Colorado. It does not have a one-size-fits-all solution. It is important we work together to ensure a safe and effective system that is tailored to the needs of District 5. Your participation this evening is valuable for us to gain your insights and expertise with your region's needs, challenges, and priorities. Every 4 years, CDOT reviews Colorado's transportation needs and creates a plan to guide future investments, and we need your help. Our transportation dollars are limited, and with a state as large and diverse as Colorado, we want your feedback on CDOT's priorities and how to best distribute our limited resources. CDOT's first priority is to fix our roads. We know potholes don't fix themselves, and that safer, smoother roads means fewer accidents, lower repair bills, and a better quality of life. Our second priority is advancing transportation safety. Everybody deserves to get home safely, whether by driving, walking, biking, or riding transit. Transportation safety isn't optional, it's essential. And our third priority is to sustainably increase transportation choice. This means ensuring people have transportation options to get where they need to go, and the more ways we can move without a car, the cleaner the air we will breathe. CDOT is taking an aggressive approach to address the condition and quality of our roadway pavement and other transportation assets. So this citizen-informed transportation planning approach will produce smarter investment priorities based on what Colorado's need today and position our state for the future, reflecting with the wisdom you bring to the conversation. CDOT understands that every part of Colorado has unique qualities, and this town hall is all about listening to you. So let us get to know what's working well and what can be improved. We are looking forward to hearing your questions and comments, so please press *3 to get in the queue. Roger, back to you.
All right, now I'd like to turn it over to Commissioner Cecil Gutierrez for some opening remarks. Commissioner, go ahead.
Thank you, Roger. I am proud and honored to be your Transportation Commissioner representing District 5. And although I am relatively new to the Commission, I am not new to Northern Colorado and Northeast Colorado. I am a former city councilor and the mayor of the city of Loveland. My interest and involvement in transportation issues spans more than 2 decades at the local, regional, and state levels. I look forward to making sure our region has a unified voice when it comes to advocating for our unique transportation needs here in Larimer, Morgan, and Weld counties. Thank you for being here tonight and allowing me the opportunity to hear from you so that we can produce a transportation plan that benefits us all. And as a reminder, please press *3 to get into the queue to ask a question. We really want to hear from you.
All right, thank you both for those introductions. As I mentioned earlier, if you want to view slides that accompany tonight's call, log on to CDOT's YouTube page at tiny.cc/CDOT-TTH5, CDOT-TTH5. Additionally, CDOT has launched a 2050 statewide plan survey, and you can take that by going to tiny.cc CDOT YTP 2050, CDOT YTP 2050. We are looking forward to tonight's discussion and to answering your questions. This call is all about listening to you and harnessing the wisdom that you bring to the conversation. To get us started, let's ask our first polling question about CDOT's priority to fix our roads. Fixing our roads means prioritizing strategic investments in Colorado's highways to improve infrastructure conditions. It is easy to participate. All you have to do is enter the number of your response on your telephone keypad. Here's our first question. What is your biggest concern with the current condition of our roads? Press 1 for potholes and surface damage. Press 2 for lack of maintenance or repaving. Press 3 for poor bridge conditions. And press 4 for none of the above. Again, 1 for potholes and surface damage, 2 for lack of maintenance or repaving, 3 for poor bridge conditions, and 4 for none of the above. Record your vote now. I'll share the results with you in just a moment. And while you're voting, and as a reminder, press *3 on your telephone keypad if you'd like to ask a question or give feedback. Let's turn it over now back to Regional Director Heather Paddock. Heather, would you tell us a little bit more about some of the trends and challenges and opportunities here in the area?
Yes, thank you, Roger. CDOT works closely with our cities and counties to develop a regional transportation system that serves everyone. From the mountains to the plains, District 5 is home to diverse communities who have unique needs and priorities. For our agricultural communities, it may be making sure farm equipment can navigate our roads safely during planting and harvesting. For our college towns or more walkable cities, it means strengthening our transit connections or implementing safety improvements to make multimodal travel more safe and accessible. Or for our commuting workforce, it may mean building innovative infrastructure like our mobility hubs along I-25 to support efficient transportation and congestion reduction. What every traveler has in common is a desire to arrive at their destination safely, and that is our priority as well. as employment is estimated to continue to rise for our region, along with an increased number of people, both people and the movement of goods and services, having a safe and efficient transportation system continues to be critical. Through this planning effort, we have to keep all these factors in mind as we talked about needs, and hearing from you is critical if we want a successful outcome.
Thank you, Heather, for those comments, and we look forward to getting some questions and feedback on some of those issues. If you have a question, again, press *3 on your phone to connect to an operator, and here are the results of our first survey question. We asked, what is your biggest concern about the current condition of our roads? 36% of you said potholes and surface damage. 27% said none of the above. 25% said maintenance, lack of maintenance or repaving, and 11% said poor bridge conditions. We appreciate your input. We'll have a couple more questions later on in the call. So let's now go first, before your questions, to our second polling question. That question is, and again, use your telephone keypad to enter the number of your response. This question is about CDOT's priority to advance transportation safety. And this means no matter where you're going or how you're getting there, Colorado is committed to providing you a safe and efficient transportation network so you arrive at your destination safely. So here's that question. What is your biggest safety concern? Press 1 for speeding or reckless driving. Press 2 for lack of sidewalks, bike lanes, or safe access to public transportation. Press 3 for dangerous intersections or crosswalks. Press 4 for winter weather driving, and press 5 for wildlife conditions. So again, 1 for speeding or reckless driving, 2 for the lack of sidewalks, bike lanes, or safe access to public transportation. Press 3 for dangerous intersections or crosswalks, 4 for winter weather driving, and 5 for wildlife collisions. Go ahead and record your vote now, and we'll get you the answers in a minute. Press *3 if you'd like to get in the queue like these folks have. We're going to start off with Priscilla. You are first. Go ahead.
When are we going to get transit to Fort Collins by train?
This is Heather Paddock. I'd be happy to answer that question. So the Front Range Passenger Rail District is an independent government agency with the mission to plan, design, finance, construct, operate, and maintain new passenger rail system along the Front Range. The planning efforts are currently underway. The current preferred alignment that is part of the Joint Service Plan for service from Denver to Longmont will follow a different alignment that will not be close to the airport. Bustang is a great connection to the RTD-A line at Denver Union Station to get to the airport. There are other methods as well to use other transit service providers, but there is no direct line currently planned for rail from northern Colorado to the airport.
All right, let's go next to Julia. Julia, you are live. Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. I'm just wondering what the prioritization of wildlife safety measures looks like on your end.
We have a whole environmental unit that looks at incidents that occur with wildlife, and we have migration corridors that we study in northern Colorado and across the state. And we look to seek areas where we can make the biggest impact with wildlife crossing across our state highways. So it is a priority to us. One of the areas that we are looking to do a future improvement right now is up on 287 in the stretch between Fort Collins and Larimer, Wyoming.
Okay, let's take another question, and we're going to hear next from Jacob. Go ahead, Jacob.
Hi. I was just wondering, do you guys have any sort of plan just for the general, like to alleviate the congestion that we have on the roads in our part of the state, especially during times like rush hour, maybe changing lights around or something like that. So just wondering.
Yes, so we are constantly looking at ways to mitigate congestion on our state highways. Our traffic engineer is looking to sync. We use adaptive signal timing. We work closely with the cities and towns to sync all of the signals. As it relates to the interstate, like I-25, one of the congestion mitigations that we've recently constructed are the I-25 express lanes, additionally adding Mustang and the mobility hubs to reduce congestion on those corridors. We also partner with a lot of our locals to provide transit to assist in alleviating some congestion. And so we work through those efforts with those communities, as well as we're looking at improvements that we can do at intersections, whether that is upgrading an intersection from a stop-controlled intersection to maybe a roundabout or a signalized intersection.
All right, let's hear from Rick next. Go ahead, Rick, you are live.
Hello, I live in Firestone, Colorado, which is on the northern end of the state. And the issues that we have up here is we have more and more housing being built east of I-25, while most of the jobs up here are on the west end of Longmont, in the diagonal area. And transportation east and west is basically two-lane roads. Highway 52, Highway 66 are the two main culprits. So we have a lot of bumper-to-bumper traffic, and those east-west corridors need to be expanded so we can get people to and from work without bumper-to-bumper traffic. Second comment I'd like to make is that the express lane that's supposed to be added north from Firestone up to Berthoud, I'm being told is going to take 3 years, and that is just really unacceptable. We have traffic jams every day to and from the northern part of the state, down south, and south going to north, because I-25 is only a 4-lane road on that section. So we need some work done to expedite the construction that's currently undergoing. Thank you.
Yeah, Rick, this is Heather again. I hear you loud and clear on your east-west movement. We are currently working with the communities of Firestone as well as Erie to talk about the congestion along 52 and 66, and we are looking to add that to our 10-year plan to look at some projects to improve the safety and the mobility along that corridor. Much of that congestion is driven by development, and we do work closely with the land use planners in those communities to help do improvements along our state highways. As the growth continues to evolve in those communities, they continue to add an extra demand on our state highways. As it relates to I-25, I do recognize the construction fatigue that many of you guys are feeling. It is a 3-year season construction, but I will say this summer, the lane configuration will be as it is right now with all traffic on basically the southbound lanes. Next summer, all that traffic will move on the newly constructed southbound lanes, and they'll be building the northbound section. The following summer, the traffic will be on its respective lanes. So although it will take us 3 years to complete it, to get all the final bells and whistles on there, I think you will see traffic start to alleviate even as early as next summer as we have more width to build out that project. But I promise you, construction is being as expedited as quickly as possible on that corridor.
Thank you. We will get back to questions in a few minutes. For those of you that joined the call late, good evening. I'm Roger, and I'm your moderator tonight as we are talking about your transportation plan, Colorado's statewide transportation planning effort with Transportation Commissioner Cecil Gutierrez and the CDOT Director of this region, Heather Paddock. You can participate in the discussion by pressing *3 on your keypad. You'll be transferred to an operator who will take down some basic information and get you in the queue. So *3 to ask a question. We know you all have lots of opinions, and we want to hear them. Before I turn the call back over to Director Paddock, here are the results of our second polling question. We asked, what is your biggest safety concern? 41% said speeding or reckless driving. 33% said lack of sidewalks, bike lanes, or safe access to public transit. 10% said winter weather driving, and then 5% each said dangerous intersections and crosswalks or wildlife collisions. Again, thanks for participating. We've got 2 more questions. Now let's turn it back over to CDOT's Regional Transportation Director, Heather Paddock. Heather, would you tell us a little more about the recent accomplishments you've had in this area? I know there's a lot of them.
Yeah. Just tagging on to the previous citizen's comment, I don't want to brag too much about all the projects that we do up here in northern Colorado, but I do want to talk about the progress that we have made on the North I-25 Express Lanes project from Berthoud to Fort Collins. We have constructed 3 new mobility hubs, one at Longmont, which is at 119, one at Berthoud, and one at Centerra Loveland. This project was completed on time, under budget, and actually 14 years ahead of the original schedule. So I know there is a lot of frustration out there and fatigue with the construction, but thanks to our local community partners and the advocacy from our citizens, this project was advanced nearly 15 years. The road is safer and more resilient. We raised the bridges, we pulled them out of the floodplains, and we straightened out the curves. We widened US 34 around I-25, making it safer and smoother for movements. We also made room under the Big Thompson as well as the Poudre River to make those trail connections. That was the last connection for the Poudre Trail to connect from Greeley to Fort Collins, and there are plans for a trail under the Big Thompson Bridge. The preliminary safety data on the I-25 corridor has shown a 41% reduction in crashes post-construction. As we mentioned, the section between Meade and Berthoud is going on now, and when it's completed, it'll be the first time that we have 3 lanes from Denver to Fort Collins.
Okay, let's get to our third polling question. Remember to participate, use your telephone keypad to enter the number of your response. Another of CDOT's main goals is to sustainably increase transportation choice, which means providing alternatives to single occupancy vehicle travel that increases choices and reduces air pollution from transportation. So here's your question. What transportation options would you like to see more of? Press 1 for public transit, that's buses and trains, those kinds of things. Press 2 for walking or biking infrastructure. Press 3 for ride-sharing or microtransit, such as on-demand shuttles. Press 4 for safer or more accessible streets for people with disabilities. And press 5 for none of the above, I prefer to drive. 1 for public transit, 2 for walking or biking, 3 for rideshare or microtransit, 4 for safer or more accessible streets for people with disabilities, and 5 for none, you prefer to drive. Again, a reminder, if you'd like to ask a question or give feedback about what sustainably increasing transportation choices means to you, press star 3. We want to hear from you. Go ahead and record your vote now, and we'll share the results with you in just a minute. This might be a good time to mention and remind you that if you don't want to speak with an operator, you can just leave us a message. You'll leave the call early if you need to leave the call early, but you can leave us a message. So press star 9 in that instance. Again, star 3 if you want to ask a question live, but if you want to leave the call and leave us a message, you can press star 9. Star 3 to ask a question, star 9 to leave a voice message. You may also provide CDOT with feedback via the online interactive survey. You can look at the whole website and find the survey at yourtransportationplan.com. All right, let's get to more of your questions. These are folks that have pressed star 3, so jump online. Sean, you're first up. Go ahead. Sean, go ahead. You're online.
Yeah, I'd wonder why 402 is so fucked up till Boise.
Yeah, this is Heather Paddock, and I understand that you've got concerns with congestion at 402 and Boise, and that is an area that is currently being worked on with the city of Loveland. There are plans to look at what the future of 402 looks like. But as it relates to your specific concerns, I'm not familiar with the with how bad that area is congested. I believe you also were concerned about maybe what are we doing on 34. I can also say that we are doing, we have a planning and environmental linkage study, as well as we are advancing design, working closely with the development that is coming on the 34 corridor. So we were working closely with the communities, Loveland, Johnstown, Windsor, and Greeley, to look at improvements to 34 for that east-west mobility.
Okay, we have a question that was submitted by Sean. Sean asked, why are we building infrastructure? And 402, that was him? Oh, okay, sorry. We are going to go to another question that was submitted online. Let me find that. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. I was on the wrong place on my screen. This came in from John. He asked, other than North I-25, what are some of the big wins or things that have happened in the area from your experience as a transportation perspective?
Some of the other large successes here in northern Colorado is the US 85 and Peckham interchange that was recently done on US 85. Along with that project, there were 12 railroad crossings that were eliminated, which really improved the safety of the traveling public on 85, and it did not create that conflict with those east-west movements. Additionally, we did complete all of our flood recovery projects, so some of, it's a little bit dated, but all of our canyons, as you all can remember from the historic flooding that happened in 2013, Big Thompson Canyon, on Big Thompson Canyon on 34, US 36, and State Highway 7 has undergone significant repairs, but you would never know it because the natural environment has completely taken back, and we did some incredible river restoration on those corridors.
Okay, our next question is, as citizens, what can we do to get involved, and what does CDOT recommend, and how you can help in this process? Cecil?
Hi, this is Commissioner Cecil Gutierrez. There are lots of ways to get engaged. First of all, visit our website at yourtransportationplan.com, yourtransportationplan.com, and from there, click on Get Involved. There's also a public survey that's live right now to give your feedback, and it gives you data on the meetings and the times and locations for meetings that are in your area. Our local partners also have meetings quarterly and sometimes monthly, so those you'll be able to find some of those online as well. Also, our website will have information on the progress of the statewide plan and regional transportation plans. Finally, as projects get approved and we make progress, we do public meetings and outreach as we design and develop each project. We also have programs such as Adopt a Highway programs to help with clean efforts, working with individuals and groups statewide. There are lots of ways to get engaged. So first of all, please visit our website at yourtransportationplan.com. And then from there, click on Get Involved. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Here are the results of our third polling question. We asked, what transportation options would you like to see more of? 32% said more public transit, buses and trains. 22% said walking and biking infrastructure. 19% said none of the above, you'd prefer to drive. 18% said safer or more accessible streets for people with disabilities. And 11% said ride sharing or microtransit. Thank you very much. Let's go back to Robin next. Robin, go ahead. Go ahead, Robin. You're live with our audience.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were just going to do my recording. I have a twofold question, and one is signage on 25 going down to 70. I get really discombobulated when I'm driving down there and I want to go east on 70, and you cannot figure out which lane to be in. I was thinking that maybe you all could start painting, be on this lane, blah, 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 to get off to here to go east, or this lane to go west on 70. That's one part of it. And the other part of it is we have had people come up to Estes Park and into the park, and they have been dropped off by Ubers, and they want to know how to get an Uber home. Well, there are no Ubers in Estes Park. I don't know if there's a transportation that you all could supply coming up here for people like that or not. And that's my question.
Hi, Robin. This is Director Paddock. I will pass on your message about the signage as you are on I-25 trying to go east on I-70. I do understand the confusion, especially as you're coming in and out of the toll lane. They have tried to put some emblems down onto the pavement to make it clearer on which lane you should be in. But we do have a customer service hotline, which is 970-350-2368, which you could specify specifically where your concern is, and we'll make sure that the Region 1 traffic people get that. As it relates to Uber and the concern with Estes Park, we are not directly tied in with the Uber service, as you could imagine, but we do provide bus staying in the summer to Rocky Mountain National Park. So there is a bus from the airport as well as Union Station, I believe, that goes up to Estes Park. That does not really aid you in how to solve the problem once they get dropped off. So I apologize for that. I think that's something that we could pass on to the Estes Tourism Center and to see if they can do some better communication and outreach with the Uber drivers.
Okay, let's hear from Molly next. Go ahead.
Hi, thank you. I wanted to say I think there's been marked improvement on I-25. Great job working together to get things done ahead of schedule and under budget. Thank you for sharing those resources. I think a lot of our frustration is stemming from misinformation. And my question is, are cities required to consult with or gain approval from CDOT when they're approving new housing developments? I'm in Fort Collins.
Hi, Molly. This is Commissioner Cecil Gutierrez, and thanks for your question. City and county planners work closely with CDOT when developments will have an impact on the state highway system, and developers are required to get access permits for that work, but the planning and the approval processes for all of the developments actually are at the city level and the county level, but they do have to get some kind of access permits for that work onto our highways. Thank you for your question, Molly.
All right, star 3, keep those good questions coming. Let's take a break and ask our final polling question. Remember to participate. Use your telephone keypad to enter the number of your response. Here's the last question. Of CDOT's 3 main priority areas discussed tonight, what do you think CDOT's top priority should be? Press 1 for fixing our roads, press 2 for advancing transportation safety, or press 3 for sustainably increasing transportation choice. 1 for fixing our roads, 2 for advancing transportation safety, and 3 for sustainably increasing transportation choice. Please record your vote now. I'll share those results with you near the end of the call. And again, star 3 if you'd like to give us some feedback or ask a question. And I think we're going to hear from Ben next. Ben, go ahead.
Well, comment and then a small micro question for my little area, my near my house, the congestion causing out of school crosswalk. The comment is the light rail. I just do not see a lot of public on those light rails. The millions and billions, or several millions spent on it. Seems like it could have been put to a better use. But it's romantic to have those light rail systems in a city. I don't see the volume of usage. You can comment on that. The micro question is, we're in a sequestered area with the Cherry Creek River. Holly Street on South Holly is we're in a cul-de-sac, and the traffic backs up. And how do we get as citizens in our neighborhood an open lane so you can get out of your neighborhood, because they just back up to the stoplight at South Holly and Cherry Creek at the school, and I can't get out because there's not. How do you find a way to get some road signs or some stripes or something to stop cars from entering the intersection in a cul-de-sac area?
Yeah, hi Ben. This is Director Paddock, and I'll comment on your first comment. Light rail is run by RTD, which is in their district in the Denver metro area. So their funding and their budget is unaffiliated with CDOT's. So the vast majority of CDOT's funds pay for the construction and the maintenance of our state highway system. And through the development of our 10-year plan and statewide plan, projects are developed for maintenance, repair, and modernization of the state highway system. CDOT does run the interregional bus service, Busfang, which provides an alternate mode for travel between those regions, but we do not run the light rail service. As it relates specifically to your question on Cherry Creek and near Holly, I believe that area is actually in Region 1. It is not my area. I would ask that you reach out to I'm not sure what town or city you are in, but I would start there, because I don't believe the intersection of those two streets are on our state facility. But if that is your best way to get stop signs or have that intersection be evaluated for safety. We do also have the customer hotline, and you can also call CDOT to specifically communicate your concerns at that intersection.
Thank you, Heather. You were talking about the statewide plan. Why does Colorado need a 2050 statewide plan? That question came in on the website, and I think it's a common one.
So transportation planning is deliberate, thoughtful, and structured process to help make the best decisions for Colorado's traveling public. CDOT, in close coordination with a wide range of stakeholders, plans for future investments so the best solutions for transportation problems can be identified.
All right. Thank you. We had another question come in on the CDOT's website that I think is very applicable up here in northern Colorado. Why did CDOT add a toll lane when we all have already paid taxes? I bet you hear that all the time. Cecil, you want to?
This is Commissioner Cecil Gutierrez, and thank you, Roger, for your question. That's a question we get constantly. The only way to really make ends meet and to advance all of these projects is to use tolling money to pay for those additional lanes. If we had not used tolling lanes on North I-25 to get that additional lane, there would not have been enough tax money to get that third lane until probably 2050, 2060. So this was a way to advance that in an earlier manner. The tax dollars that you paid originally for those two lanes, and this was the way for us to advance that third lane significantly by a good 15, 20 years. Thank you for your question, Roger.
All right, here are the results of our last polling question, and we asked, what of CDOT's three main priority areas discussed tonight, what do you think CDOT's top priority should be of the three main priorities? What should be the top priority? 47% of you said fixing our roads. 34% said sustainably increasing transportation choice, and 19% said advancing transportation safety. Thanks for your input on all of that. We really appreciate it. Let's get back to a caller, and we'll hear next from Rick. Go ahead, Rick.
Hello, this is Rick from Firestone again. Got a question. I grew up in Southern California in the 60s and 70s, and when we had freeway construction projects, we always had our roadway crews work day and night. We were about out the searchlights, and the crews worked all night, and we got things done quickly without disrupting traffic during the day when people are trying to get to and from work. Why can't Colorado CDOT do the same?
Thank you, Rick, for your question. And I will say there is a balance between safety of the construction workers and their exposure at night versus the impact to higher volume of traffic during the day. CDOT does routinely updates a lane closure strategy that lists acceptable hours of operation based on the average daily volumes. For instance, almost 100% of the work completed on I-25 requiring a lane closure is completed between 9 p.m. and 5 a.m. So we do night work, but it is typically not our first choice.
Heather, it seems like I was just helping with the last statewide plan, and here we are working on our next plan. How does CDOT track progress of these 10-year plans?
CDOT has a public-facing dashboard. We maintain it and update progress on the 10-year plan, but with quarterly reports, and the CDOT Accountability Dashboard. The Accountability Dashboard provides project expenditure information at the statewide level and CDOT engineering level, so you can filter by your area of the state that you are in. The 10-year plan quarterly reports provide the most up-to-date project status and funding for Colorado's statewide list of priority transportation projects.
Commissioner, there were several laws that CDOT, I'm sure, was watching as it was going through the legislature. What can you tell us about the distracted driving laws that have been approved?
Well, this is Commissioner Gutierrez, and, we can engineer our roads to be as safe as possible, but if drivers aren't paying attention to the road, even the safest road can be dangerous. The Colorado legislature did pass a new law this year that makes sure drivers have hands-free to drive, which is great. And it's going to take some time for everyone to get that law and make sure that we're enforcing it. But again, there is that personal responsibility that we need to expect. And we are also piloting a program to automatically ticket speeding drivers, especially in work zones, because this is an area where we have more people at risk in vehicles and on the ground, that we need to ensure drivers are paying attention to speed changes in work zones. And I implore, at almost every meeting, our citizens in those work zones, slow down. Slow down. And I personally would appreciate it when I'm driving through those work zones, but especially for our workers in those areas.
All right. This came in from Susan on the website. She asked, are there any plans to charge the electric vehicles to use the road since they do not pay fuel taxes?
So in Colorado, electric vehicle owners pay an annual fee in addition to regular registration fee. This fee is currently $57.19 for the 2024 to 2025 fiscal year, which includes an inflationary adjustment. There's also a road usage equalization fee, which is $12 for all electric vehicles and $8 for plug-in hybrid vehicles in the same fiscal year. So yes, EVs are paying to drive on our roads.
Okay, next up, I'm going to be curious about the answer for this one. What are enterprises and how many are there at CDOT? Who's got that information?
Yes, this is Commissioner Gutierrez, and I can answer that. Enterprises are government-owned businesses. These enterprises operate just like businesses. We have a number of those enterprises. We have the Bridge and Tunnel Enterprise, and there are fees that Bridge and Tunnel Enterprise collect, and then those fees are used to fix and make sure that and update our bridges and tunnels. We have the Colorado Transportation Investment Office. The Colorado Transportation Investment Office is the office that has helped advance all these managed lanes and the toll lanes, and has been able to utilize the tolling income to help build those roads. The Clean Transit Enterprise is an enterprise that also collects fees that are used to help expand our transit system. And then we have the Non-Attainment Area Air Pollution Mitigation Enterprise. That's a mouthful. And then we have the Fuels Impact Enterprise. So the Non-Attainment Area Air Pollution Mitigation Enterprise helps with alternative mode projects. The Fuels Impact Enterprise is very limited in its scope, and it helps to fund freight and fuel transportation projects in the state. I hope that answers all those enterprise questions.
Heather, you've talked a lot tonight about all of the projects that are going on here in the region. It seems almost a little bit overwhelming. How do you prioritize projects at CDOT?
When we look to prioritize our projects, we definitely look at the worst first when it comes to our asset management. We definitely want to tackle those potholes and those roads that have seen some failure. In Region 4 alone, we have 6,700 lane miles, and across the state is 23,000 lane miles. So with our limited budget, it is challenging to tackle each lane mile, but we are definitely putting our efforts where those roads are the worst. For capital projects, we work with our local agency partners, along with our metropolitan planning areas and our transportation rural planning areas to prioritize those projects. It's a grassroots effort. We also meet with various local transportation planners and public officials on a monthly or quarterly basis. These are public meetings, so anyone can attend and help inform our transportation vision. There is a lot of strategy that goes on behind the scenes, and we work together to chase funding grants and ensure multimodal components are captured. Additionally, we do safety studies that prioritize some of our worst intersections, so we can expend some of our faster safety funds to improve those intersections. As we know, intersections tend to be some of the least safe locations on our transportation corridors.
Okay, let's hear from Ken next. And again, *3 if you'd like to ask a question. Ken, go ahead. Ken, go ahead.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Did you say Ken? Me?
Yes, Ken, go ahead.
I got a dog barking. Hold on. Hey, motorcycles. Now, I don't notice it so much around here, but like in town, you get in a left turn lane, and it might be raining late at night when there's no traffic. I know they got the sensors up there. You just flash your for ambulance and emergency vehicle. It's real easy. You go and flash your headlight, your bright lights a couple times. The light will turn. But anyway, thing is it don't work on a motorcycle in a left turn lane. You're sitting there like 30 minutes waiting for a light to change, and it never changes because you're not heavy enough. I don't know if it's a weight thing or if it's a magnetic thing, but there's sensors in that turn lane. Adjust them, man. That's the rain, you know.
Yeah, thanks, Ken. So CDOT has been updating the detection systems at intersections. Yes, they used to be in the pavement, but most of them are moving towards a camera system that are more sophisticated to detect the difference between motorcycles, cars, pedestrians, and bicyclists. Sometimes signals run on a fixed timing plan that does not depend on detection, which may make it seem as though you are not being detected. So just wanted to offer that. We are in the process of upgrading all of our sort of in-pavement old sort of detection to cameras.
All right, again, on the website, this is more of a statement, I think, but maybe you can explain it to them a little bit. CDOT needs to make the pavement thicker so it lasts longer. Is there a way you can do that? Heather?
That's a good question. So maintenance folks are the only ones that can do any paving less than 2.5 inches. Plus, this is typically just to hold the road together for a longer time until a larger project can be scheduled or funded. As noted, with limited funding, ideally we would make our pavement as thick as possible, but the thicker you make the pavement, you cannot go as far. So it is really a balance between, do we really make this one section of road really thick and really strong to last a lot longer, or do we spread out the dollars so we can actually pave more lane miles for a smoother riding surface?
Heather, we heard from a caller earlier about Uber dropping people off in Estes Park. Have we recovered from the 2013 floods, and are we prepared for the next flood that's bound to come?
Yes, I am happy to say that we are fully recovered from the 2013 event. Believe it or not, the state of Colorado recovered faster than any other state in the nation on an event that the same sort of order of magnitude. So our 2013 event was a pretty massive event. And yes, we have built back better. So we built resiliency into our bridges and into our roadway prisms. We innovated some new ways to combat what we do anticipate will not be the last flood the state of Colorado foresees, but as we know, Mother Nature may not flood in the same areas in which we built all those resiliencies. So that is something we take into consideration in all of the work we do when we engineer and design projects. We also look at the resiliency and will it withstand the next flood event.
All right. How does one apply to work at CDOT? I'm sure there's people that would love to apply. It's good work. It's hard work. I couldn't do it. But Heather?
Yes. Like everything, it's on our website. We would love to get new applicants to work here at CDOT. Positions can be found at governmentjobs.com. CDOT employees work together to ensure Colorado's transportation system is safe and efficient. And CDOT offers maintenance and operation jobs, engineering, and technical and professional career opportunities ranging anywhere from entry level, even student trainees, to leadership positions.
All right, jobs.com. As we wrap up tonight, I think it's been a good call. I've certainly learned a lot, and we appreciate all the good questions and comments we heard from you all on the phone. Let's hear one more time briefly from Heather on other regional happenings and accomplishments. You've covered a lot of them. And just any thoughts, closing remarks that you'd like to make.
Thank you, Heather. This is Commissioner Gutierrez, and I would just like to thank you all for your participation tonight. This has really been a very helpful discussion, and we truly appreciate you taking the time to provide us with your valuable input to help guide our efforts moving forward. And again, this telephone town hall was all about listening to you and will result in further identifying the unique transportation needs of our area. And again, I would like to reiterate, to provide further feedback or to directly get in touch with us, please visit our website, yourtransportationplan.com, yourtransportationplan.com. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.
Commissioner, thank you. Let's go back to Heather because we had a technical problem and I don't think you could hear her. Heather, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't hit the mute button, but I just want to thank everybody who attended the call today. We do really appreciate your input, and it is important that we hear from you, and there are a number of opportunities and ways to do that. As Commissioner Gutierrez mentioned, your transportation plan. We also have hotlines for those instances where you've got something hot that you want to make sure. Maybe it's a pothole, maybe it's that intersection, maybe the signal timing isn't working. We do want to hear from you. And I just wanted to give a shout out to Molly on the express lanes. Thank you for the compliment. And express lanes are a true benefit to the traveling public. They provide that trip reliability, a reliable service for our Mustang, as well as providing, a free general purpose lanes.
Commissioner, Director, thank you very much for participating tonight. We are sorry if we didn't get to your question tonight, but you can still leave us a message, a comment, or a question. Just stay on the line. You'll be directed to a voicemail system. On behalf of Commissioner Gutierrez, Director Paddock, our panelists tonight, and the hardworking public servants at CDOT, thank you very much for taking part in this event. Please drive safely and have a great evening.